Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello? Yes, I can just about hear you. So you are, yes, I can hear you. Indiana Bones, yeah. Jin, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you. I'm in the year 2052, or 2052, depending on your preference, eh? There's quite a cult about that, actually, at this time. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is the future. We simply have to fix it. Why? What's wrong? I don't become an English heritage manager, do I? No, you're fine, you're fine. In fact, you own a small island, and they've made a statue in your honour in Conway Castle. Yes, you're fine, absolutely fine. No, it's your kids. It's your kids we have to worry about. What's wrong with them? What's happened? What's up? Well, there's no easy way to say this. So I'll just come out with it, okay? Brace yourself, my dear man. They're presenting American Digger. It's been going for 40 years, my dear boy. No! Oh. Okay, I'll be right there. I just need to do this Questions of Doom. Yes, right there. Questions of Doom. Hello and welcome back to another Questions of Doom. In this series, as ever, I attempt to answer questions that you send my way using the archaeosoup@gmail.com email address, as displayed on the YouTube channel homepage, or indeed as you'll see at the end of this video. In answering these questions by video, I hope the answer is made useful not only to those who have asked the question, but also to anyone else out there who may be wondering the same thing. Now today, as you've just seen, I have a certain issue on which has cropped up, so I may have to be fairly brief. But today's question comes from Kirsty P, who incidentally is a very proud Young Archaeologist Club member, she mentions in her PS. And she also asked if I was ever a member, and I was never a member of the Young Archaeologists Club, sadly, because I didn't know about it until I was just too old. I know, it's tragic. But anyway, Kirsty P, you ask a fairly straightforward question, and you ask it thus. The first line of your email is in capital letters. Hello, Archaeosoup, you say. Could you please tell me, you go on to say, if you had a time machine, when and where would you travel to? Thank you, Kirsty P. Or Kirsty P, as I may have to call you. No, I won't actually, just Kirsty P. So, Kirsty P, you ask, when and where would I travel to if I had a time machine? Well, I actually posted that I was going to respond to this video on the Archaeosoup Facebook page, but a little while ago, and already we had some responses in the past few hours, past 12 hours or so, and those responses were thus. One person said that they would like to travel to the summer solstice at Stonehenge in 2200 BC. Another person said, I would like to travel to ancient Egypt in the 18th dynasty, or dynasty. Another person suggested going back to World War II and deposing a certain Chancellor of the Third Reich, Mr. Hitler. However, as we have already probably learned from various incarnations of time travel lore, if you do that, who knows what would happen next. So maybe that's a bad idea, interfering with history too much. Another suggestion, though, from the same person was robbing the Library of Alexandria blind before it was destroyed time travel, is destroyed in 30 BC. So that would save an awful lot of knowledge being lost, and I'm sure many a scholar would high-five this particular person, Andy, if he achieved that. Then again, they wouldn't know he had achieved it because the things would have survived. See, time travel, crazy, yeah. Anyway, you asked me where I'd like to go and when I'd like to go, and put quite simply, given that Indiana Bones is already apparently in the future, I obviously would like to go back to the past. Now, there are several places I'd like to go, so I've permitted myself 4 journeys. I hope that's okay, Kirsty. Journey number 1 would be to a post-glacial world/Europe. So the Northern Hemisphere, after the glaciers have started to melt away, and at the end of the last big ice age, and you see a landscape which is more or less alien. You know, a landscape which has been just sort of scraped from with soil and plants are gone. Got these boulders which have been left behind, and just seeing how that develops. Because to be honest, there's not really much like that on the planet. So it'd be interesting to see that, if only because, well, almost no one's really seen that who's alive. Well, actually, in fact, no one's seen that who's alive. But you know what I mean? No human beings that we can interview have seen it. So it'd be very interesting to go back and have an idea of what that looks like, but also how it changes over time. We do have a fairly good idea, but I'm sure we'd learn something. The second would be to go back to the time of Saxons and Vikings and that kind of thing. I'm sure it would be very interesting. I'm sure also it would be very different from what many of us imagine, not least in terms of the smell and in terms of the general standards of hygiene. So I'd have to go maybe back with a peg on my nose or something like that. But then, of course, if I did that, then everyone would assume that I was completely either bonkers or that I was, well, to be feared. Or actually that I was just not from there. So as soon as I had a peg on my nose, they'd know that I was a stranger and I may get arrested or, worse still, killed. You know, you never know with these Saxons and Vikings what they might do. But nonetheless, it'd be very interesting to go back and have a look and apply because we do know quite a lot about the period, but just see what some of those realities were like. I'd be very interested in that. Not least because I have a beard, and beards probably would fit in. You have a womanly beard. The next one, actually, the third of 4 that I'd like to do would be to stay here in Wallsend in the northeast of England at the end of Hadrian's Wall and rewind it. You know, kind of like in the Time Machine movie when maybe you haven't seen it, but the guy pulls the lever and everything just sort of starts moving around him. And then, you know, when the journey is finished, he can get out of his machine and he's in the past or the future. Well, I'd like that to happen. I'd like to sort of see Archaeology towers just disappear, and then grass appear, and then all these, you know, villages come and go, and the ship trade, building trade in Wallsend on the Tyne come and go, you know, or rather go and come. And then also as well, obviously you'd see the relationship between where actually Archaeology Towers is located and Hadrian's Wall, because technically we are on the wrong side of the wall. We're actually on the barbarian side. So it'd be interesting to see whether or not the wall actually was a point of friction or attack, or whether actually it was just more of a symbolic thing and trade was passing freely back and forth. Because there's an awful lot of evidence that there was an awful lot of gold and stuff was traversing the wall. People were trading. So it'd be interesting to see in this particular spot how things developed over there and what that social kind of tension was like. And then actually even to go even further back and then see the wall disappears. It gets built and disappears. That'd be fantastic. So yes, a slow sort of transition through time in Wallsend. That'd be very interesting. And then finally, I would be fascinated to go back and interview. I'm assuming that we have some sort of translation sort of nodule thing that we can attach to our neck or something. So hello, and oh no, that doesn't really. I was going to say in Welsh hello, but hello is just hello. So yes, you can say hello. How are you? Hello, Samai. But they will understand what you're saying. So I'd like to go back to ancient Egypt or Mesoamerica and interview the people who are building things like pyramids, and just get an understanding of what they think about what they're doing. You know, rather than having the top-down view, the sort of this is being built for someone who's you know, who's in charge or who's going to be buried in it or whatever else, or the people who are actually running the show. I'd be very interested actually to talk to the people who are doing the building, see what they think about what they're doing, why they're doing it, whether or not they consider themselves slaves, that kind of thing. Because there's an awful lot of debate and an increasing sort of weight behind the idea that, for example, the pyramids was a giant, it was a civic building project which people actually contributed to out of a civic duty rather than simply being, you know, coerced. There's a very famous line in a comedy show that I like an awful lot called Red Dwarf, and someone goes, "How did they build the pyramids?" And the guy goes, "With whips, with massive, massive whips. That's how they did it. They didn't need aliens. They just need to whoosh." But again, as I say, there's increasing thought that maybe the pyramids were a little bit more of a collaborative effort rather than a top-down sort of "you will build the pyramids." So there you go. Those are my 4 choices: post-glacial world, the Saxon and Viking period, so sort of 1,000 to sort of 1,400 years ago, Wall's End backwards, and also Egypt and Mesoamerica, just to talk to people who are building these impressive structures and get a sense of who they are, what they think they're doing, and why they're doing it. So there you go. Thank you very much, Kirsty P, for asking the question. The question of the day with regards to time travel. If you guys out there in YouTube land have any, or indeed archaeosoup.com land, or indeed the Facebook page, or indeed Twitter land, have any thoughts on when or where you would like to travel to, all you need to do is comment, and I'm sure Kirsty P would be very interested to hear more about other options. I'm sure there are many options out there that I haven't thought about, and yeah, it's quite an interesting question. So thank you very much. Continue to watch, although obviously don't necessarily listen to anything Jindiana Bones says, because he's not necessarily all there. And also as well, continue enjoying archaeology. I'm very glad to hear that you're a member of the of YAC, and long may it continue. So until next time, everybody, as I say, get on and answer, you know, where would you like to go, when would you like to go, who would you like to see, and again, assuming I would suggest that you can speak the language of wherever it is you're going. Yes, indeed. So go on, and until next time, bye-bye.